Can you hear me?
Yes,
నేను ఆపేస్తా వీడియో నా
yes,
వల్ల
sir.
కాదు.
Uh, so automatically, automatically, when the power requirement for a propulsion is very high, apart from that, we all also know that there are other loads which is exclusively for the hoteling purpose and other arrangements, that is lighting and other arrangements. So this much power requirement cannot be sufficient when we are going to go ahead with any mechanical system. So automatically, when we going for an electrical system, uh, comfortably, for example, a 12 megawatt, if a power generation is there, obviously around 6 to 8 megawatt is exclusively they will spend for propel the particular vessel, that is ship or any cargo ship. But after that, whatever the remaining power that can be exclusively used as a source of energy for especially lighting as well as any hoteling and other applications. We elaborately discussed that what are all the other possible ways by which there is a huge amount of conversion of voltages also take place, because we are generating a 6.6 kV that is directly maybe given to a motor which is propelling the thrusters, but the same 6.6 kV cannot be utilized directly for other appliances. So as far as other appliances concerned, even from up to a 230 voltage to even sometimes even we have to step up the 6.6 kV to 11 kV. Some of the appliances, say for example, very big furnace is there. So in case of very big furnace and in case of a very big drive motor, so there is a need of sometimes we have to boost up the voltages also. So obviously, it's inevitable. That is, we can't imagine any electrical propulsion system in a ship without high voltage. That is the very purpose. And after that, when we are going for high voltages, automatically there is a need of circuit breakers. I already explained that. With a very high voltage, if any 40, 50 amps power is flowing from the generating unit to utility side, so if there is any fault, automatically the fault current will be very exponentially increased. Say for example, we are having a three-phase system. In the three-phase system, power generation is around 12 megawatt. I am getting the particular voltage. I am generation is 6.6 kV, but I have stepped up the voltage to 110 110 kV. If I'm stepped up to 110 kV, the same 12 megawatt power, the ampere rating of current will be come down to maybe in the range of 40 amps or 30 amps. So in that case, it is very comfortably I can able to transmit. But think about any fault occurs. Suppose any short circuit occurs. Suppose any face-to-face occurs. Hello, are you all able to hear me?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are
Uh,
Yes, sir.
able to.
yeah, yeah. Since everybody kept silence, I'm having doubt. whether-
We are muted, sir.
okay, okay, okay. Oh, some of them. Okay. So in that case, there is a need of a very high circuit breaker range. I already told that any short circuit occurs or any fault occurs with this much high voltages, it is capable of circulating very high amount of current exponentially. It will be increasing exponentially. Say for example, I already told, suppose 110 kV 40 amps is going. If R and Y phase level, you know that in three phase system there is a three wire is there, R, Y, B. These are all the three phases, and apart from that, usually one neutral wire will be there. Suppose the wire carrying or power carrying cables, if they are short circuited, say for example, R and Y phase is short circuited, instead of that 40 amps, the current rate will be increased to exponential, whereas voltage will be come down very quickly. Say for example, 1200 amps or 3000 amps, within a fraction of second it goes. So not only we are having a one side, we are having a very good system. We can able to get a huge power with a reduced amp rating when we are going for a high voltage. Another aspect, any fault occurs, especially when there is any short circuit occurs, huge amount of current that may be damaged, because you know that majority of the ship materials, composite, wooden materials, and that's all capable of getting damaged or getting fire very easily. So to prevent that, absolutely there is a need of a circuit breaker. which may not be. We know already that what is the difference between the fuse and the circuit breakers. Especially fuse, you know that it is we have to go and replace with a proper composite material. That's what's the material made up of. It's composite material. So the same type of fuse we have to go and replace. Instead of that, if there is a tripping facilities available, that is well and good. So for this much of huge rating, we cannot proceed with the miniature circuit breakers. Absolutely, we need some vacuum circuit breakers, and the current rating is exceeding. That is 500 amps above, and absolutely we need SF6, that is silicon hexafluoride, and absolutely air blast circuit breakers and all. So that type of circuit breakers, what is that? What is the structure of the circuit breaker? How it is? What is the principle of operation? How it is working? We are going to see all these three or four type of circuit breakers, and absolutely we should know the layout. So where we are going to generate. Suppose we are having in a ship and front and back we are having some propulsion arrangement. So in the propulsion arrangement, automatically we need two motors. So two motors means we cannot generate with a single generator. You know that what is the disadvantages of generating a power, huge amount of power with a single generator? Because main disadvantages is even that generator fails, the entire system fails. That is why they usually having a fractional rating of whole power required. Say for example, I already told, if it is a 10 megawatt electrical power required cargo ship, actually the 10 megawatt is divided into five different capacity of generators, each having a 2 megawatt. Okay, so the total is 10 megawatt. But even if a single generator fails, with the remaining 8 megawatt, so whatever may be the isolation possible, we can able to do in terms of lighting load, in terms of hoteling load, or in terms of any other furnaces and all. There we can able to cut, but wherever the movement or propulsion of the ship cannot be stopped or may not be stopped. Assume that if it is run by a single generator, that is for example, if it is run by a 10 megawatt generator, if that fails, not only the propulsion fails, it is also there is an entire there won't be any electricity, there won't be any power required. So obviously they have to search for other. It is kind of some critical situation. That is why whatever may be the overall requirement of generator, power requirement, that will be divided into number of generators. After that particular power generation taken place, they are all connecting this required power in a three-phase bus bar. Three-phase bus bar. Through the bus bar only, the motors and all feed. So we are making the generation in a fractional manner. After that, by bus bar, we are all collecting the required power. Through the bus bar, we are all distributing the required amount of power to the motors. So I will send you the materials next that is lecture. So I'm preparing some slides and preparing some materials also. I will show it. So that is how you may ask one question. Suppose, so what is this much type of this much generators, this much motor? Likewise, in motors also I told that only at the beginning where it is standstill or at the harbor or for tug and other purposes, we may need some amount of a small amount of power. But whereas when the ship from the standstill position to move, it has to move from harbor, a huge amount of dead weight that has to be first overcome. That is called moment of inertia. After that, we can with a normal power, that 50% of the power at initial, we can able to run the ship or we can able to propel the ship very easily. That is why some of the motors exclusively employed at the starting or at the starting of movement. After running, they may be isolated or they may be cut out also from motor only for the running purposes. Likewise, same time when it is reaching harbor also, it has to be slowly moved and it has to be positioned in the proper position in the harbor. So there also, whatever may be the running condition motor, one by one they will be cut and exactly they will position the particular ship in the harbor. These are all done by the power converters. We already know that that is the very important maneuver controlling. We are using in the conventional system, whereas in case of a power electronics, any converters by means of a firing angle, by means of controlling the a power flow from the source to the load by means of a power modulator. They are all simply controlling that. So that layout, one or two layout is there. So especially a lot of layout also is there for a cruise ship, for a normal ship, cargo ship, very big cargo ship, different type of layout are there. Only the difference is we are going to see a single module. Single module means in the single module itself, we are going to have number of generators, number of motors. They are also going to feed from the bus bar. After that, the remaining amount of power apart from spending for the propulsion purpose, remaining amount of power that has to be taken from the bus bar to other load also. So proper circuit breakers, proper isolation, everything is there, needed. The conceptual wise, we understand that if a generator is there, motor is there, we can able to run. That generator rating is we are fractionalizing. That is, we are dividing into a number of generators. That is for the purpose of ensuring that there won't be any critical situation like failure of single generator entire system. So even though if two generators fail, three generators fail, you suppose 2 megawatt each. So with the remaining two generators, we can able to produce 4 megawatt. That is capable of propelling. That is capable of driving at least two motors. So this is how the entire system. But when we are really implementing, when we are really doing any troubleshooting, we should know what is the layout, how to connect these generating powers into a common bus bar. That is, it is having a fixed voltage, fixed frequency, and as well as fixed phase sequence. So one alternator is first what they will do is they will generate power from one 2 megawatt generator unit, and they will connect it to a bus bar, and they will maintain it a fixed voltage and frequency and phase sequence. Whatever will be the number of alternators they are going to come and have it in the bus bar, there also should be with the same voltage, same frequency. That is a condition. So that is called a paralleling of alternators. So if there is any mismatch, automatically what will happen is the resultant voltage. Suppose one generator is, for say for example, for the sake of understanding, I am saying, if it is produced 230 voltages, another if is that is already connected in bus bar, you want to connect another one alternator to the bus bar with a difference of 218 voltage or 217 voltage. That three voltages can make circulating current between these two alternators. That is, instead of pumping power from generator to bus bar, one motor, what is the voltage difference? That current is try to pass through the particular generator instead of going out. So this is totally not a required one or not a demanded one. It is actually against the purpose. So we have to ensure that same voltage only, whatever may be the remaining all three or four alternators, that has to be connected to the bus bar. And of course, I said that if any mismatch, automatically there should be prevention by means of circuit breakers. And apart from that, whenever we are connecting, engaging any motor or any disconnecting, that is stopping, or we can say that simply breaking operation of any motor, there is a huge possibility of current may be suddenly stopped. So in that case, suppose any fault occurs, in that case, if you want to prevent any arcing, obviously we need a circuit breaker. So in the particular circuit breakers, usually we know that what is the need of circuit breaker. So main purpose of circuit breaker is when automatically when we are isolating a normal conducting conductor, okay, if suddenly opens, if it is carrying current, automatically whatever may be the electron, whatever the current, that will try to ionize the air and try to continue in the conduction, even though they are metallically isolated, physically isolated. By means of arc between these two conductors, they will try to continue the conduction because of a huge arcing will happen. That may be lost for even 1 to 2 minutes if the current rating is very high in terms of 1000 amps or 1500 amps. So that arc also we have to quench. So what is the thing is, what is the surrounding? Suppose the two conductors is there. So if the conductor should be surrounded by some gaseous environment or vacuum environment. So based on that, they are categorizing. So initially they try with the vacuum up to 200 amps. Okay, if the vacuum is there, whatever if the arcing is there, if there is no any air is available to ionize and keep on having the conduction, automatically there is a possibility of quenching within within fraction of second. The same thing is surrounded by inert gas, that is some type of gas, silicon hexafluoride and all. So it is having a capability of not allowing this type of ionization of the air by means of a huge amount of current automatically. So automatically the isolation or circuit breaker will open even the current rating is very high. Normal current and beyond the, sometimes even fault current. When the circuit is try to draw more current because of the fault, there also there is a possibility of disconnecting. So we already know that we can achieve by PTCT, that is potential transformer and as well as current transformer. So this is how a system. So first topic of the particular unit 5, high voltage is what is the layout? What is the system, the high voltage system layout for the ship? And the second topic is we are going to see the number of circuit breakers. So because you may understood that what is the importance of circuit breakers, especially in ship, because ordinary miniature circuit breakers, they may not serve the purpose because of the reason that it cannot it will totally damage or it need to be replaced by a new one. This is how the system is going. So another one is being a marine engineer, how to practice, what are all the practices, electrical workshop practices, norms and standards and etc. That also you should know, because when we are communicating, say for example, in a particular wire is damaged, so because of the high current flow or due to the aging and etc., one particular phase current, this wire is for about 10 meters is completely burned out. So how to get order them and replace them? What is the cage? How many cages are there? How many conductors are there? So for that you should know NAMs. We cannot simply go and ask, I need 100 amps wire, I need 100 amps cable. They will ask how many cores, what is core, what is the diameter. So there are so many norms and standards also. So you should know the procedures, workshop practices also should be there. So of course, we cannot have any hands-on experience as of now. So you theoretical, first theoretical concept should be taught. So once you get the chance, suppose already we discussed. So far you told that you have not gone to any ship. Any chance to get internship or any project related work in the ship, at that time you can able to practice. So what is really going on, how they are replacing, suppose any fault occurs, how they are communicating these things with the technical team. Because if everybody knows the standard norms and procedures, it's accepted. So usually we are saying that for shipping, it's a different one. As far as every country is also having, in India, in IE rules, they used to say Indian electricity rules. So these are also, so many norms is also in there. How this can be practiced very effective. So this is how they are going to speak. And of course, um, we can able to finish. We'll try to finish within next 3 classes. This is as I mentioned in your mail and as well as plan. This is about introduction. This is about introduction to high voltage system in the ship. Okay, we already discussed, but in the forthcoming classes, some 3 classes, we are going to see. In the first class, we are going to see complete the 3 different layouts. What are the different layout? How the system is starting from a generation unit to propeller end. Propeller end, you know that azimuth power drive and all, that is advanced version. Up to a propeller end, from the generation end to up to a propeller end, how the power is transmitted, remaining and all power how is taken, how different voltage conversions takes place using power converters. These are all the different layouts we are going to see. After that, the subsequent second class, we are going to see the circuit breakers types. Especially, first we will start with the normal circuit breaker and vacuum circuit breaker, and as well as we are going to see SF6, silicon hexafluoride circuit breaker. What is its structure, cross sectional view, okay, what is the amps rating, okay, it's preferred. Because all the one circuit breaker cannot work for all the ampere ratings. obviously we will decide it for different ratings, because vacuum circuit breaker cannot be employed for a higher ampere ratings. So when the higher ampere ratings goes, automatically we will go for the SF6 one. Okay. So I think with this, in the afternoon session, after a post-lunch session is very difficult. With this topic, okay. Any clarification? Any clarification? Madhusudan, any clarification?
Yes, sir.
Any clarification?
Sir, what are
Yes, one by one.
paralleling of alternators?
What are the
Conditions for paralleling the alternators.
three different conditions? One is the voltage should be same. When you are parallel the operation, voltage should be same. Second one is the frequency of the supply should be same. So one alternator is having a 50 hertz, another alternator is having a less than 50 hertz or more than 50 hertz. We cannot able to synchronize, or we can have parallel. And another one is phase sequence. Three wires are in RYB means the incoming alternator also should have RYB. That R should be connected to R, Y should be connected to Y, B should be. We cannot have it shuffling of that. Okay, so the phase sequence, voltage, and frequency. These three should be same for any paralleling of the part. Am I answered?
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions? Any clarification?
Sir,
Tejas, I think Tejas, Vishnu.
sir, I have a question, sir.
Yeah, Madhusudan.
If paralleling of generators are done at the same time, like if there is load, if a single generator is running on a load, then if I have to do paralleling with that single generator, if I have to attach like connect two other generators, like should I have to shut down that generator? Then I have to.
No need. Usually, first assume that one alternator connected to bus bar, because of that only load is running. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we are generating power that is connected to bus bar, and also it is supplying to a motor. Okay. When another alternator comes, first these three conditions will be satisfied. Until that, it won't take any power from bus bar and not giving it also. It will be in a floating condition. Okay. So synchronization in the sense, we are seeing voltage, we are seeing phase sequence, we are seeing frequency. But when we are talking about load, it is in terms of current, no? Apart from that current, apart from these three. So that will not be given by the second alternator. First, we will see voltage, phase sequence, and frequency. We will connect that. After that, we will increase the excitation of this alternator. Then only it start exporting the power. Say, for example, at full excitation, the loads are shared proportionally. How to understand this? I am telling. First alternator is 2 megawatt. Okay. If second alternator is 1 megawatt, okay, the same proportion only the load. Suppose load is 3 megawatt. Okay. So our load is 1.5 megawatt. Assume that alternator 1 is 2 megawatt capacity. Alternator 2, which is going to be connected to the bus bar, is 1 megawatt. Totally 3 megawatt capacity. But whereas load is only 1.5 megawatt means 0.3 times. That is this 3, no? So automatically 1 megawatt will be taken from 2 megawatt alternator. Only 0.5 megawatt will be taken from the second alternator. So once it's fully excited, the load sharing of alternators will be proportional to the rating of the alternator. Madhusudan, understand?
Yes, sir.
Suppose 2 megawatt and another one is 1 megawatt. Total 3 megawatt capacity alternator, but load is only 1.5 megawatt load, motor is. So in that case, 1 megawatt will be taken from the first alternator, whereas 0.5 megawatt of load only will be taken, power only will be taken from the second alternator. So always load sharing is proportional to the rating of the alternator.
Yes, sir.
Any other? Another one, Subhas Chandru.